This is just going to be a quick tutorial on how to skip the long cutscene at the end of Lambda core. For this, I'm just assuming that people understand what the cutscene is and some general stuff like clipping and just general speedrun things about the source engine. So the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get into this level, of course, but it's pretty easy as you can just go in here. So you're going to get into this level, and you're going to get into this position, and then you're going to have to clip down on this wall. So the way you're going to clip is using this technique called called wall clipping. It's essentially where you move along a wall and you get stuck on it. So every diagonal wall in Half-Life Source, so for example this one's straight, because if you look at my position up here, my angle is about 0 when I look into it, but this one is diagonal, as you can see, because it's not straight on this wall. So if it's diagonal, you can wall bug on it, which means that when you jump on it, you can move side to side and kind of get stuck in it. So you can use that technique, but you're going to use it down here, and you're going to use it to get stuck. So basically you're going to rub yourself on this wall until you get stuck. But the problem is, when you get stuck, you have very little time to actually save, so you're going to want to use something called stuck save. So stuck save is included with source pause tool, and the way you're going to set it up is you're going to do y_svt_stuck save, and I already have it set up, but you're going to put the name of your save. So if I wanted it to save to stuck, I would just put this, and then that means, and I'm using no clip to demonstrate this, that when you get stuck in a wall, that was bad, when you get stuck, it will save it, and you can load stuck, and it'll save that right there. So basically you're going to want to use this with the wall clip, and you're going to rub yourself alongside here. I'm just pressing forward and backwards until you get stuck, and then essentially you're going to load that save and you're going to clip down. So you want to clip down to this blue room right here, because right here is the triggers that we want to use. So you're going to have to either wall clip right here and just clip straight down into the room, or if you wall clip right here, you'll just be stuck, and then you can use the Gauss gun to give yourself some velocity, and then you'll clip down into this room right here. So once you're in this room right here, there are these 2 level change triggers, and I'm just going to save a backup real quick. So this level change trigger right here, it brings you to C3 to B, and this level change trigger right here, it brings you to C3A to D, which is where we want to go, because this is the map that you're going to skip using this trick. So this save right here, you're going to use this, and you are going to essentially do a void clip as soon as you enter this level change trigger, since you're spawning out of bounds. For those people who don't know what void clipping is, it is essentially a way where you can keep speed while you're out of bounds. So I'm out of bounds right here. I'm not in the normal level. I'm in the blackness of the void. So if I go and save, if I load it, I won't keep my velocity if I keep on saving and loading. As you can see up here, my velocity went to 0. So what you're going to have to do is when you save, you're going to load and press save before it's completely loaded. So if you see that the save message is popping up right here, which is for me, then you've messed up. So you want to tap really fast before it loads. So I have a bind for this called, I just call it my void clipping bind, but what you do is load quick and then wait 20 and save quick. So the waits will be different for each person depending on how fast your computer is. But what that allows me to do is I can make a save, and I can just tap this and it'll keep doing my void clipping for me. If you watch this up here, you can see that my velocity stays with me and I never lose it. And now if I do a normal save load, you'll see that I lose my velocity as soon as I do that. So you're going to want to know how to do void clipping like that. Except for I was just using the bind and knowing how to do it normally, because the bind will be very helpful for the rest of this long void clipping. But to go through this level change trigger and void clip, you can't use the bind for it. So you're going to save your backup. Oops, spelled that wrong. And then when you jump into this, you're going to tap save like I did. So you can see this message, the save message. So that means I messed it up. Okay, there we go. So I got a save in the void. So I essentially just saved right as I went through the level change trigger. So now that I'm in here, I'm going to tap B, which is my void clip bind, and as you can see, I have my velocity here. So I have some upwards velocity. That means when I'm doing my void clipping, I'm moving up. So I'm not going to spend the entire time here because it's way too long, but essentially you're going to keep on void clipping until you get up here, and then you're going to void clip forward and be right on top of this up here. I'll have a link to the VOD in the description of me doing the entire thing, just to show that you can do it that way. So once you clip over here, you'll be around here, and then once you get over the top, you'll start moving forward. And so once you're moving forward, I want you to stop using your void clipping, just unpause, whatever, and then tap your normal save loads a few times once you're above it. Because when you're in the void and Half-Life Source, you automatically stand up. So when I'm like this, I'm going to be standing up, and if I stand up, I move down just a tiny bit, and when you move down just a tiny bit, there's no chance you could clip through the floor and fall out through here. So I'm going to introduce you to another concept real fast called void walking. Void walking is when you're in the void, but you're on top of something so you can walk. So what you're going to do is when you clip up, you're going to save load standing up until you're at a point where you're void walking. So the position is about 464 in your upwards height and vertical height. So you're going to want to do that until you're void walking, and then you're going to walk all the way over here to this trigger. And so this trigger is where we want to go at the end. I have the coordinates here of the position you want to be on the trigger, and it's right here, 1146, 266, and this is the height, so it doesn't really matter. So what you're going to do, you're going to position yourself right up here. I'm going to position myself at about 266. I'm going to put my angles right here so that they're as close to 0 as possible, because I don't want to get too far off. And I'm going to walk forward and save. And then I'm going to hit my void clip in again, and I'm going to wait until my position hits 1146. Okay, so now I'm about 1146, I'm 1143, so I'm going to unpause, I'm going to crouch, and then I'm going to save load. So if you have pause on and you keep on just save loading, you'll go back to standing up position because you're in the void, but you can do crouch, save load, and then you can do your void clips down if you want to, and you'll stay crouched, or you can just unpause and keep on save loading, which is what I'm going to do here. It's easier. So basically you're going to save load down until you get inside this green box, and then once you get inside this green box, you're done with the level. Okay, so now I'm in here, and these triggers will teleport me, and bam, I'm in Zen. I completely skipped the entire cutscene.